My message today is return to sender. Return to sender. What am I talking about? I'm talking about shame. Shame is an insidious emotion, tactic employed by individuals, family systems, social groups to exert control over our decisions. I think the hope is for those who try to put shame on you is to convince you that you cannot survive without that individual, without that family unit, without that social group, and that your worth is derived from these people, from these groups, and that your ability to thrive is only through the approval of these groups, these people, these institutions. But the truth of the matter is the shame that they feel or that they would feel if placed in the position that you are doesn't equate to anything that's yours. So return it back to sender. It's not yours to carry. It's not mine to carry. Once you grasp this, once you really internalize that shame can only exist in an environment where you give your power away, I promise you that you will be unstoppable. If you've been following my story for the past couple of years, you know that I decided to move on from an emotionally abusive relationship with a covert narcissistic individual. And the aftermath of that has been challenging, to say the least. I think people in my position would feel shame about what has occurred, what I've had to do to survive, what were the effects to me personally. But that's not mine to have. That's not mine to have. Me making a decision for my well-being and the well-being of my family is something that I'm so proud of. Something that I would never change for the world. And regardless of what society says I should feel about being a single father, about someone who lost their home, had to, or lost their business or what have you, that's not my shame to hold on to. It's not. I am now working as a motivational speaker, and it's very common that, motivational speakers, they say like, I came from here, I came from there, now look where I am, you can do it too. And I think that has a lot of value. I've certainly followed motivational speakers, people with stories that were so inspiring, and they were telling the story from the place of having, made it to the mountaintop, so to speak. I think it's as necessary to provide inspiration, motivation from your experience while you're going through the shit. And a lot of people don't do it because they're waiting for the success. They're waiting for the accolades to be the validation that they did the right thing, that, they proved all the naysayers wrong, etc. But what happens after is not the validation. That's not where the value is. The value is that people like you, people like myself, decide to show up for ourselves regardless of the external circumstances, regardless of the effects to our lives. So today, I just want to share some of that with you so that perhaps a little bit of my story can not only inspire you, but embolden you to continue to take steps to living the life that you were meant to live and live it on your own terms. For the past few months, I've had to go to a couple food pantries to make ends meet. I remember sitting down, filling out the forms. They want to keep record of who's coming to the food pantries, so they can have volunteers bring in stuff, what have you. Oh, I can remember the pain in my heart, filling out my name and my address for someone who previously owned a home, had a profitable business, had graduated with not only my undergrad, my MBA, to be in this position now because of decisions that I made to take care of myself, despite the consequences to me. And for a split second, because I am human, I could feel the shame just kind of rushing over me, with that internal story you tell yourself, like, man, look how far you've fallen. Look how far you've fallen. But then almost just as quickly, that message came to me like, that's not mine to have. Not only is that not mine to have, as I reflect over what I've done over the course of my life, over the course of the past couple years, I am so incredibly proud of myself. I am so inspired. I have more resolve than I ever had, because every single step back and me standing here today, still surviving, has shown me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can't beat me. You can't beat me because you can't shame me. My story is not yours to pen. It is my own. It is my own. As I reflect over everything that I've overcome in my childhood, I'm talking about the physical abuse from my family of origin, the sexual abuse. When I think about the housing insecurity that I experienced early in my young adulthood, when I think about the financial issues, when I think of all of that and the fact that I'm standing here today, more hopeful than I've ever been, God, I'm so proud of myself. And I know more today than I ever have that as long as there is breath in my lungs, life and life circumstances and those that position themselves against me absolutely cannot beat me, because while I am operating from a place of courage, they're operating from a place of shame and fear and darkness. And that can never, ever, ever consume light. It's impossible. It's impossible. I think about all that I've had to endure with mounting debt, legal fees, just constant harassment, to just recently being threatened for the police to be called on me because I didn't, succumb to harassment. It's all these things that are supposed to break me, but you don't know my story. You don't know what I've overcome. You cannot put shame on me. You cannot put the fear that you carry in your heart. You cannot put that on me, because life has shown me that not only am I an overcomer, but I overcome and I thrive. Return to sender. Return to sender. The lies, the manipulations of legal systems, mental health providers, what have you, friends, family members, social groups, return to sender. That's not mine to carry. The needing to use food pantries so I have enough food for my household, me, tapping into all the different resources available to me, through the Department of Veteran Affairs. You can't shame me. Return to sender. While people were doing everything they could do to silence me from telling my story, telling the truth, preemptively approaching people so they get filled with ideas before they hear the full story, you can't shame me. Return to sender. While all of this manipulation was going on, while I was weekly losing more clients and having to use my credit cards more and more, I not only was handling a high conflict divorce, had to go through tax season, which was a busy time, and at that same time was finishing a second master's degree. I have one class left and a project left. You can't shame me. Return to sender. You can't beat me because you can't shame me. You don't have what I have. You manipulate because of fear. You manipulate because of shame. I don't have that shame. Return to sender. My status in life doesn't define me. That's not shame for me. Return to sender. Lies talked about me isn't the truth about me, so I turn the other cheek, look the other way. Return to sender. That's not mine to have. Someone seemingly prospering on the outside while I very visibly am not prospering, that's not shame to me. That's not mine to hold. Return to sender. Return to sender. I want to encourage you all to tap into the courage that is created from a life of knowing that you can do hard things. I can do hard things. I always have, and I've always made it. There's no shame here. It's been returned to sender. I hope you can do the same. When people try to put their thumb of oppression on you and make you feel some type of way about you that they quite obviously feel about themselves, return to sender. When people drum up lies about you to protect their own reputation that's just a frail mask, that's not shame on you. Return to sender. When you have to give up things that were comfort, that were, that provided a certain status in your life in order for you to live the life that you want to live, that's no shame on you. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Because your story, my story, is in our hands to write. And by God, the fact that the pen is in my hands means my life is lived.